Hello everyone, you're watching L24 Nightly News with me, Mariam Zian. To the headlines. Algeria is ready for September 7 presidential election with over 24 million voters set for a historic decision. Mobile polling stations in southern Algeria highlight voter engagement in presidential race. Also coming up, members of the Algerian community abroad make their voices heard with high turnout at 117 polling stations worldwide. Over 24.5 million Algerians, including 900,000 settled abroad, will vote in a few hours from now in the country's early presidential election to choose their next president, with the Independent National Electorate Authority ensuring widespread access and support for this critical democratic process. More details with Marwa Belayawar.
The ultimate decision makers, around 24.5 million Algerians, including approximately 900,000 living abroad, will cast their ballot on Saturday's early elections, determining the next president and shaping the country's course for the next 5 years.
وصلت الهيئة الناخبة داخل الوطن.
The electorate inside the nation has reached 23,486,061 voters. And concerning the electorate abroad, the number of registered voters as part of the exceptional counting has reached 16,639 voters, while the number of removed ones has reached 30,030, which means there is 865,490 voters. Therefore, the total number of the electorate for the 2024 presidential election is 24,351,551 voters.
To ensure the effectiveness exercise of this right, the Independent National Electoral Authority has mobilized the necessary human, material, and logistical resources. Additionally, it has provided adequate training to the staff assigned to polling stations and centers. The authority has also deployed 134 mobile polling stations across 16 Algerian provinces, catering to over 116,000 registered voters, especially in remote and southern areas where access to regular polling station is challenging. Moreover, 117 committees spread across 5 continents are overseeing the voting process for the Algerian community living abroad.
So, the Algerian 865,490 voters abroad are actually distributed across the 5 continents, in Europe, Asia, America and Africa. So here is the organization that frames them in this space approximately. This electorate abroad is organized by 117 electoral committees, 18 in France, 30 in the rest of Europe, 22 in Arab countries, 21 in African countries, and 26 in the rest of the world, meaning Asia and America.
This election is regarded as a crucial turning point for the country, reinforcing the constitutional process and bolstering democratic foundations. It builds on the progress Algeria has experienced over the few last years, politically, economically, diplomatically, and socially. The election also seeks to promote comprehensive development and accelerate economic growth, aiming for substantial improvements in key economic indicators based on previous achievements. However, the economy is not the sole priority for Algerians. Strengthening national unity, deepening social bonds, and fostering solidarity are essential for effectively tackling current regional and international geopolitical challenges characterized by increased tensions. Achieving success hinges on strong leadership and resilient state, with widespread electoral participation being crucial to realizing this vision.
The municipal delegate of the Independent National Election Authority in Ain Zawatin in Gazzam is working on finalizing preparations for the electoral event. The Municipal Election Authority has confirmed that they are ensuring all organizational conditions that are in place to facilitate a smooth voting process for citizens. They have designated 4 fixed polling centers, which include 25 offices.
حضرنا للعملية الانتخابية من كل الجوانب.
We have prepared for the electoral process from every angle, taking into account.
In Tin Zawatin, there are 2 polling stations, the Wad Ghalian station and the Ghassan station. I'm the head of the Wad Ghalian station. As for the start, the necessary material resources were provided by the Independent Election Authority. Regarding the route, we started from the Titirat area, passing through the Amas Masa area, then in Wazal area, followed by the Tasmaq area, and then in Tafarkit. We are now at Teslit point, which was part of the planned route. The electoral process is progressing smoothly and under good conditions. There is a notable turnout by citizens to fulfill their electoral duty, and all the necessary conditions are in place.
In the province of Illizi, 31 polling stations and 26 polling centers have been set up to accommodate over 60,000 registered voters for today's election.
حضرنا للعملية الانتخابية من كل الجوانب.
We have prepared for the electoral process from every angle, taking into account the specific needs of the region, which necessitates the presence of mobile polling stations across the municipal area. There are 9 mobile polling stations, and the electoral process began on Wednesday, September 4th, and will continue until today, with the process scheduled to be completed on September 7th, God willing. The number of registered voters at these mobile stations is 11,100, distributed across the 9 stations. The process is currently running smoothly, and there is a noticeable and significant turnout. We expect an increase in the number of voters and those who wish to fulfill their electoral duty.
In the province of Tamraset, in the far south of the country, the Independent National Election Authority has finalized all arrangements and preparations for the fixed polling stations across the various municipalities of the province. On Friday, the voting process through mobile offices was completed. The election authority recorded approximately 21,603 voters distributed across 29 offices in the province's remote areas.
ساعات من بداية الانتخابات.
Hours after the start of the elections, the provincial delegation of the Independent Authority has fully prepared, providing human resources represented by officials who will oversee the electoral process. We chose the best 100% to conduct and ensure the success of these elections. As for all the material aspects, such as media equipment, supplies, and other necessities for the process, especially the preparation of the centers. The preparations are quite advanced, as you may have noticed the activity within the delegation upon your arrival. These were the final preparations. The heads of the centers communicate with us, informing us of any shortages in the centers so that we can address them before the voting process begins. This is to ensure that the citizens can come vote and find the conditions that help them fulfill their electoral duty.
ويلقى الظروف التي تساعده لأداء واجبه الانتخابي.
In the southwestern province of Tindouf, the Independent National Election Authority has put the final touches on preparations for the September 7th elections. The election authority, through its representatives in Tindouf, has provided all necessary resources to ensure that voters can perform their electoral duties under the best possible conditions.
Regarding the offices, we have mobilized 211 in Tindouf, 27 in Omlasil, and the remaining offices are in Tindouf. Additionally, there are 27 centers in both Tindouf and Omlasil, including 5 centers in Omlasil that consist of both mobile and fixed offices. The mobile offices will start counting votes on September 7th. We are ready for tomorrow. The circumstances are favorable. Centers and offices are fully mobilized, and everything will be prepared for the elections on September 7th.
The provincial delegation of the Independent National Electoral Authority in Biskra has completed preparations for the presidential election on September 7th. The preparations include the appointment of 8,420 supervisors who are expected to oversee the voting process across 210 polling stations within the province.
Regarding the Provincial Commission of the National Independent Electoral Authority in Biskra, all preparations and organizational matters have been completed across all voting centers. We have finished organizing the offices and centers, with 8,420 staff members overseeing 210 centers and 999 polling stations. Regarding the candidates' representatives, there are 312 representatives for each list at the office and center level, as well as at the municipal and provincial commission levels.
In Skikda, the provincial delegate of the Independent National Election Authority has completed all preparations for opening polling stations tomorrow, Saturday. The electorate in the province is estimated at 622,552 voters distributed across 368 polling stations.
We continue coordinating with local authorities to prepare the election centers, which number, as previously mentioned, 368. This means, frankly, we can say that 98% of them are in excellent condition in terms of providing all logistical needs, such as voting booths and curtains. Regarding the election documents, we are of course continuing at a rapid pace to prepare them, especially the necessary documents like ballots, envelopes, reports, and other secured documents.
And for the third consecutive day, the voting operation for the presidential election in Algeria continues at most of the mobile polling stations designated for residents of remote areas in the southern provinces. The voting process involves 116,064 registered voters across 134 polling stations in 51 municipalities spread over 16 provinces. The delegations of the National Independent Authority for Elections at the provincial level have confirmed that all necessary material and human resources have been mobilized to ensure the smooth run-in of the voting operation. On Friday, the voting process started at mobile polling stations in Lagouat province, southern Algeria. The voting will be conducted at 4 mobile stations spread across the municipalities of Sidi Makhlouf and Hasirmed. According to the latest data from the Independent National Authority for Elections, there are 1,864 registered voters at these stations.
Today, I came here to fulfill my electoral duty. In the Grara al-Hamra region, municipality of Sidi Makhlouf, all the citizens voted today and accomplished their duty.
On Friday morning, the voting process for mobile polling stations started in Adrar province, located in southern Algeria. Citizens residing far from the provincial center participated in the election to exercise their rights. Al24 News also reported on the election operation in the village of Ghazi within the municipality of Oulad Ahmed Timi.
Today the electoral process began. I fulfilled my national duty for Algeria as it will need us. Our ancestors sacrificed themselves for the country. Now it's our turn. Today we must go to the polls to respond to the critics and enemies of Algeria, both inside and outside the country.
I thank the officials and the independent authority for the efforts they have made, and I hope that the citizens will fulfill their duty.
In the province of Al-Mghazar, voting has begun through 4 mobile polling stations. These mobile stations are serving voters in remote areas with a significant turnout observed. Representatives of the 3 presidential candidates are present, ensuring transparency with logistical and human resources are fully deployed.
The mobile polling stations which include 226 voters, have now started, with the nomadic voters beginning to cast their votes. Afterward, they will move to a place called Nibish. The nomadic voters are fulfilling their electoral duty in good and favorable conditions. We have provided all the necessary materials, from ballot boxes and office supplies to voting papers, ensuring the smooth conduct of the election process.
The province of Ingazam's Independent Election Authority has completed the setup of polling centers and offices for the presidential elections scheduled for Saturday. The local delegate, Walad Bikay Sheikh, inspected the readiness of the 9 centers, which include 62 offices in the province, along with 5 centers with 37 offices in the capital and 4 centers with 25 offices in the municipality of Tin Zawatin.
The provincial delegation has made all the necessary preparations to welcome voters tomorrow, starting at 8 a.m. on election day. All resources have been mobilized to ensure suitable conditions for voters, including equipping and preparing the polling centers. There are a total of 9 polling centers in Ingazam province, distributed across the municipalities of the province.
In Hama, southwestern Algeria, voting at mobile polling stations continues for a second day running. Polling office number 2, located in the municipality of Asla, witnessed a large number of voters from all categories. Many emphasized the importance of taking part in this electoral process and praised the arrangements made for the September 7 vote.
The Independent National Election Authority in Nama province has taken all necessary precautions to ensure the success of this important electoral process in Algeria's political life. Preparations have been underway since the announcement of the election, following the directives of the President of the Independent National Election Authority. Currently, the Nama province has registered more than 176,000 voters, distributed across 170 polling centers, including 420 polling stations, 9 of which are mobile. These mobile polling stations are spread across 4 municipalities.
In Al-Wad province, southeastern Algeria, voters are continuing to cast their ballot at mobile polling stations. On Friday, voters in the municipality of Hassi Khalifa gathered at the polling stations, showing their satisfaction with the operation and expressing hope that the newly elected president will implement more development programs for the region.
We started the electoral process today at 8 a.m. We have 2 polling stations, one for men and another for women. The electoral consists of 700 voters divided between the 2 centers. The process started smoothly, and Independent National Authority for Elections, ANI, and Independent National Authority for Elections ensured that all necessary means were in place for the proper conduct of the vote.
We came to vote in Al-Mashia, in Hassi Khalifa. Thank God we have fulfilled our electoral duty. Long live Algeria.
Thank God I voted. Everything is going well. May God protect our country.
Everything went well. No complaints about the organization. The authorities provided transportation and everything. Thank God, Algeria is heading in the right direction.
Algerians living abroad continue to cast their vote in the snap presidential election through polling stations distributed across the 5 continents. This process will continue until the end of today, Saturday. The National Independent Authority for Elections in Algeria has designated 117 diplomatic and consular locations as polling centers for the Algerians living abroad to cast their vote. Voting starts from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. local time. The voting period for the Algerian diaspora runs from September 2nd to September 7th. Algerian voters at the Gare de Gonesse polling center under the Algerian consulate in Pontoise near Paris have expressed their strong commitment to participating in the presidential election, citing awareness of the country's challenges and support for the democratic process. The National Independent Authority representative in Gare de Gonesse assured that all logistical and technical means are in place to ensure a smooth and transparent voting process.
As you may have noticed today, a large number of the national community living in this town have gathered for the unveiling of the first digital memorial for October 17th. This monument serves as a testament to the events of October 17th and to the solidarity demonstrated by the community as they cast their votes today. Garges is a town where we have established a polling center due to its high concentration of the national community, with more than 12,000 registered voters at this center.
It is national and personal duty, but more than that, when we vote, the elections must be free and fair, as they are today. The people need to unite with their leaders, as this is the duty today, because Algeria is now targeted, as we know, by many.
This democratic process is very important for the country, both domestically and internationally. The world views Algeria differently now compared to the 90s or 80s. Things have changed and the balance of power in the world is shifting. Algeria now holds a strong position.
Volunteer associations in Marseille have renewed calls for the Algerian community to cast their ballot in the two remaining days. Voters have expressed satisfaction with the support from consular authorities and volunteers during the fifth day of the election.
As volunteers, we did our duty and went to shops and even to popular neighborhoods. We visited all places to promote this electoral campaign, and thank God, today we have a great audience. There was a very large turnout. Thank God, long live Algeria.
In Lyon, polling stations in the Mermoz and Fez districts witnessed a significant turnout of the Algerian voters, with around 20,000 participating in the presidential election. Voters viewed their participation as a patriotic duty and hoped the election would bring further benefits to the Algerian community abroad.
I believe that voting is an important act for democracy. We are fulfilling our duty as Algerian citizens.
We fulfilled our duty as citizens. In fact, I'm happy that my daughter and I have this sense of patriotism that has been with our ancestors for ages. So today is her first time voting. She couldn't do it before because she was a minor, but today we came together and we voted.
Today we came here to vote as an Algerian community living abroad. It's very important to vote because we have no other country but Algeria. Therefore, I urge everyone who has not yet voted to come and exercise their right. They should vote for whoever they want, but in any case, voting is a proof of their presence and solidarity.
In Barcelona, members of the Algerian community are actively participating in the presidential election, now on its fifth day. The Electoral District Specialty Office Number 1, the Consulate General, recorded strong voter turnout. And now we turn to our special correspondent, Islam Sid, who is live with us for more details on the election in the UK. So Islam, what are the latest updates from London where you are?
Good evening, Miriam. Good evening, dear viewers. Yes, the fifth day of voting for Algerian elections here in the UK concluded. Polling stations are closed following an extension of voting hours until 8 p.m. local time to accommodate a higher number of voters as part of efforts by the Independent Election Authority. Today marked the opening of three new polling stations, I'm saying, in Glasgow, Belfast and Cardiff, specifically to serve the Algerian community living in these countries. Meanwhile, the stations in Manchester and Birmingham, which opened yesterday, saw, let's say, considerable participation, while the main polling center here in London marked the highest voter turnout as it hosts the largest number of registered voters. We observed as well a noticeable increase in turnout today compared to previous days, reflecting a growing interest among the Algerian diaspora in exercising their voting rights. Many see this election as a crucial opportunity to contribute to, let's say, Algeria's democratic path. Looking ahead, tomorrow, Mariam, officials anticipate the highest voter turnout, which is the final day of voting here in the UK and coincides with the election day in Algeria. It will also be the day where the votes are counted. We will continue to keep you updated about the more developments tomorrow, which is the final day for voting concerning the Algerian diaspora living in the UK.
More details with you, Islam, tomorrow. Thank you very much for the updates and the insight. And for the fifth day, the Algerian community settled in Tunisia are actively voting ahead of the September 7th elections. The Algerian consulate in Kiev, serving over 32,000 voters, is experiencing high turnout, especially from families. Overall, about 16,000 Algerian voters are registered across 3 consulates in Tunis, Kiev and Gafsa, with additional polling stations set up based on community needs.
I came here to share my Algerian heritage and to introduce them to the Algerian consulate. I want to teach my children the importance of going to Algeria, exercising their freedom and fulfilling their electoral duties in the future.
And in Istanbul, the Algerian community continues casting ballots in the presidential election for the 5th consecutive day. Voter turnout at the Algerian Consulate General in Istanbul has increased as the election draws to an end on Saturday. In Beijing, Algerians residing in China have been heading to the polling station at the Algerian embassy for the 2nd day in a row. The Beijing station has witnessed a notable turnout, with community members eager to fulfill their civic duty. On Friday, Algerians residing in Ottawa continue to arrive at the polling station in the Canadian capital for voting. The presidential election voting process has been proceeding steadily and smoothly at the polling station provided by the National Independent Electoral Authority for Algerians living in Ottawa and nearby cities. That's it for our nightly news, but do stay tuned for a special program on the Algerian presidential election updates right now.